Sampurita pamita paramita balena Vidvansiyo kila kilesa Samohajalang Teneva landa arahang arahoti namang Vandami buddha mamalang hadaye tapetva Samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devata Saddammang munirajasa sunantu sagga mokpadang Dhammasavana kalo ayam badantang Dhammasavana kalo ayam badantang Dhammasavana kalo ayam badantang Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Sacitta pariyodapanang etang buddhana sasanang Venerable members of the Mahasangha, friends in the Dhamma, we are listening to Buddha's message. The Buddha, our spiritual teacher, explained his message for 45 years. All the teachings that the Blessed One explained for 45 years can be summarized into one sentence, which is Sacitta Pariyodapanam, purifying one's mind. Why do we need to purify our mind? The main purpose of everyone who was born in this world is that happiness. Happiness is the main purpose. Happiness completely depends on purification of our mind. There are three unwholesome mental states that disturb our peace of mind: craving, anger, and delusion. Lobha, dosa, moha. These are the negativities, unwholesome mental states that disturb our peace of mind. Whenever our mind is lustful, angry, and ignorant, actually, even though we are well educated, although we are very rich, everything that we earn is useless. That is why Buddha always encourages us to purify our mind. The purification of our mind depends on understanding that how suffering arises and how suffering ceases. Here we should understand the importance of our thinking. The Buddha says, Mano pubbangama dhamma, mano setta manomaya. Mind is the forerunner. Mind is chief. Mind made ade. If our mind is wicked, if we do something with a wicked mind, physically, verbally, or mentally, suffering follows us. If our mind is pure, if we do some activities with a pure mind, physically, verbally, or mentally, happiness follows us. We should trust in this message, what the Blessed One explained. Buddha explained a message as a discovery, it is not a creation. The Supreme Buddha says very clearly, a Buddha appears or not in this world, this truth is eternal truth. This is an eternal truth. We respect the Buddha because he realized this message first time in this eon. That is why we respect Buddha. That is why we honor the Supreme Buddha. In this situation, we should understand how our mind works. We should be aware of our mind. According to Buddha's message, the path is very clear. Sila, Samadhi and Panya. Sila means discipline in our speech and behavior. Samadhi means practicing loving kindness meditation or concentration meditation technique. There are 40 meditation techniques according to Samatha Bhavana, concentration meditation in Buddhism. And mindfulness, sati. These are the techniques that we practice to overcome negative thoughts from our mind. Sila, virtue, and metta thoughts, loving kindness meditation, and sati, mindfulness. We should practice these three things in the maximum level. This is the place where we can see whether we are successful in our spiritual life. For that, we should have clear understanding. Especially, we should understand how our mind becomes negative situations. We should be aware of our mind. That explains in Buddhism as Chittanupassana, the contemplation of consciousness. When we are angry, we immediately understand that now my mind has anger. When our mind is lustful, we immediately understand now my mind has lust at the moment. When mind is ignorant, we immediately understand now my mind has ignorance or delusion. With this understanding, we go forward. In the primary level, we practice 5 precepts, Panchasila. That is the discipline in our speech and behavior. When we do something behaviorally, we think again and again whether it is correct. When we speak something, we contemplate on it again and again whether it is correct. And also we practice 5 precepts, abstaining from taking life, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from false speech, and abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs causing heedlessness. These are the 5 qualities. This is the foundation of our family life and spiritual life as well. If a person can practice this 5 precepts, it means he is successful in the social life. Not only that, he is ready to go forward in his spiritual life too. The base on this conventional truth is that the karmic law, Kammasakata. We know very well, if we do something, the results come to us according to our mental situation. If our mind is polluted, the results are negative. If our mind is pure, the results are fruitful. This is the very first place where we should be confident in what the Blessed One explained. This belongs to the conventional truth, but the Buddha has explained another truth that based on the ultimate truth, absolute truth, Paramattha Sanchya. That is the very, very important thing. What is that? How suffering arises and how suffering ceases. Whenever we are ignorant, suffering arises. The Buddha explains very clearly Suffering definitely comes to the person who is ignorant. Suffering never comes to the person who is wise and mindful. That is very, very important. Suffering definitely comes to the person who is ignorant. Suffering never comes to the person who is wise and mindful. What is the ignorance? What is the wisdom? Ignorance means when we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we taste something, when we experience something through our physical body, we usually come to the external world. Our mind is fixed in the material world. If our mind is fixed in the material world, it means we are in the samsaric circle because of ignorance. Avidya pacca sankhara, sankhara pacca vijnanam, vijnana pacca nama rupam so on. With the arising of ignorance, mental formations arise. With the arising of mental formations, consciousness arises. As the result of this circle, we end with sorrow and lamentation. Jati pacca jara marana sokha parideva, dukkha domana sukhayasa upayanti. With the arising of birth, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, everything arises. What is the nature of this ignorance? When we see something, we think that at this moment there is something outside what I am experiencing at the moment. But that is not the truth. That is not the truth. That is a conventional truth. But when it comes to the absolute truth, ultimate truth, that is not true. What is the real truth? What is the ultimate truth? What is the absolute truth? The absolute truth is that when we see something, we can contact something at the moment with the material world. We can see the color, we can hear sounds, we can taste some food or something, some tastes. But the very important thing, when we understand it, we never understand something through our five consciousnesses. That is why the worthy one says, Na panchahi vijnanehi kinchi dhammam pativijanati anyantara vinipatamatta. We are unable to recognize something through our five consciousnesses. Just contact. Just contact. We understand everything through our mind consciousness. Sabbe dhamma mano vijnana dhatuya vinyeya. We understand everything through our mind consciousness. Not only that, but when we recognize something through our mind consciousness, the very first experience, the first five aggregates, Rupa, form, Vedana, feeling, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, mental formations, and Vijnana, consciousness. These five things have already ceased. That is a very important thing. You always think something with some material things or persons. Without the material world, you can't think anything. When you think your mom, you remember your mom's figure. When you remember your house, you were born in Sri Lanka, immediately the picture comes to your mind. But that is not the truth. What is the truth? Truth is that when you understand that person or thing, you understand everything through your mind consciousness, and also the very first experience has already ceased. This is the place where we should be confident in what the Blessed One explained. Saddhati Tathagatassa Bodhi. We should be confident in what the Blessed One explained. At the beginning of the path of liberation, we should be confident in this reality. Without this confidence, you can never reach the destination. That is why Saddha is very important. Confidence or faith in what the Blessed One explained is very important. In our day-to-day life, we believe a lot of things in our faith. For example, how do you say your birthday? Do you remember your birthday when you were born? No. You trust it in your parents' word. Do you know whether your parents are the real parents of yours? Have done an experimental test with DNA? Never. We trust in with our confidence, faith. Actually, still we have believe in a lot of things in confidence or faith. That is not fault. Here also. But when someone comes to Buddhism or Dhamma, they may say that I don't believe anything without reasons, without testing. But already we believe a lot of things without testing, without debating. Here also very important. At the beginning, we should trust it in what the Blessed One explained. But when we go forward, we can see the results. That is why visible results immediately affect you, sandhiti vakarigo. When you go to a new place, you trust in the address. You keep it in your navigation. You never doubt it. You trust in the address where you are going to. Then you drive. When you reach the destination, then that is your experience. Then you don't need to depend on your address. Since you have already reached the destination, like that. When we start this spiritual journey, first we should trust in what the Blessed One explained. And also, immediately when we practice the Dhamma, we can see the results. How do we see the results? When you see something, if you have this understanding, now I recognize this form through my mind consciousness, nobody can blame you. Why is that? If you are mindful at the moment, a person can blame you, but nobody can make you angry. Why is that? Immediately we come to this experience, understanding. Now I understand these words through my mind consciousness. The very first experience, my ear sounds, ear consciousness have already ceased. I understand this experience through my mind consciousness. That mind consciousness also arises and ceases at the moment. This is your skillfulness, your skill, your proficiency. You should be proud of that. Nobody can disturb my peace of mind. Nobody can make me angry. Nobody can make me lustful. Nobody can make me ignorant. This is your skill. This is the real skill. This is the spiritual skill that we should develop according to what the Blessed One explained. For that, we should practice this Dhamma in the maximum level. The path is very clear, the Noble Eightfold Path. Samadhi, right understanding. This is the understanding as the Sutame Jnana, Sutame Panya, the wisdom of hearing. The very first step of this spiritual path is that Sutame Jnana or Sutame Panya, the wisdom of hearing. or listening, learning. And Chintame Panya, the wisdom of contemplating or thinking. And Bhavaname Panya, the wisdom of meditation. That belongs to mindfulness. And Samadhi, right understanding, and Samma Sankappa, right intention. We always practice Nekkhamma Sankappa, Avihimsa Sankappa, Avayavad Sankappa. We always practice generosity, loving kindness. This is the right intention. Our heart always with loving kindness and generosity. And also right speech, Sammavacha. We speak every word mindfully and with loving kindness. When we speak something, we think again and again whether it is correct. Pachavekitva, Vashaya Kamakatabha. Buddha advised his son, Bhante Rahula, when you speak something, you should reflect on it again and again whether it is correct. Right speech and Samma Kamma, right action. We do everything physically, mindfully. When we behave anything as a physical activity, we do everything mindfully. And also Sammavayama, right effort. We always try to overcome negativities and we always train our mind to develop positive thoughts, such as Sandha, confidence, Virya, energy, Sati, mindfulness, Samadhi, concentration, and Panya, wisdom. These are the spiritual faculties, the positive thoughts that we develop when we practice Dhamma, in practicing of Sammavayama, right effort. Samasati, right mindfulness. We are aware of our body, feelings, consciousness, and mental formations. We are fully aware of our body and mind. We don't go away at least a second from our mindfulness. Be sure, whenever you are mindful, it means you are near the Buddha. Whenever you are mindful, nobody or nothing can disturb your peace of mind. Whenever you are mindful, Mara or devil is unable to see you, you can see the Mara. When we are away from mindfulness, we are away from the Buddha. Where we are in, we are near the Mara. At that moment, Mara can control us. And also outside world and things and persons can control you. No one likes to be controlled by the outside world and persons. Everyone likes freedom, liberation, emancipation, enlightenment. The Buddha has explained the liberation, emancipation, freedom, enlightenment. What is the freedom? Whenever you are mindful and wise, you are fully aware of your mind and mental formations. It means you are reflecting on impermanence. At that moment, nobody or nothing can control you in the outside world. It means you have liberated from the outside world, material world. It means we have liberated from suffering. We do everything in the name of happiness. If we need the real happiness, we should practice this Dhamma. That is why the Blessed One says, Attadipa bhikkhave vihata sarana, nāni sarana. Dwell with yourself as an island, as a refuge, with no other refuge. Again, Buddha says, Dhammadepa bhikkhave vihara dhamma sarana nani sarana. Dwell with yourself, dwell with the Dhamma as an island, as a refuge, with no other refuge. How do we make a refuge within us? Practicing mindfulness is the way how we make a refuge within us. As soon as you see something, you hear something, when you smell something, you taste something, you touch something, if you are mindful at that moment, you know very well the material world has ceased. I understand everything through my mind consciousness. That mind consciousness also arises and ceases at the moment. That is also not mine, not me, not myself. With this understanding, you trust in this message what the Supreme Buddha explained. As the result of this confidence or saddha, we dedicate our entire life for practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. Right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right effort, right livelihood, right mindfulness and right concentration. In short, Sila Samadhi Panya. Virtue, concentration and wisdom. In very short, what is that? Mindfulness. What is the mindfulness? We completely be aware of the present moment, the present mental situation. That is why the Supreme Buddha explains, Ekayano ayam bhikkhave maggo satthana visuddhiya soga paridavana samadikkamaya dukkha domana sanagatthangamaya nyaya sadhigamaya nibbana sachikiriyaya yadidam tatharo satipatthana. Practicing mindfulness is the only way for the getting rid of suffering, sorrow, limitation. That is only path for the liberation, for getting rid of suffering. Satthana visuddhiya. Practicing mindfulness is the only way for the purification of beings. Sachitta pariyodapanam. When we are going to purify our mind, with this understanding, we should practice mindfulness in the maximum level. Then we understand that mindfulness is our best friend. Hitamituru. How do we make a friend to our mind? Hitamituru. We usually find friends, best friends from the outside world. That is not the way how we make a best friend. If you trust in the Buddha, you always trust in what the Blessed One explained. Practicing mindfulness is the way how we make a real best friend. Hitamituru keneka. How do we make a friend to our mind? Practicing mindfulness. Being aware of our body, feelings, consciousness, and mental formations. As a result of this practice, we completely live in the Dhamma. What is the Dhamma? Practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. The Buddha says, Uyuko nama so maggo abhihanam sadhisa. This is the direct path. This is the fearless path for the liberation. Arihatangika magga. This is like a red carpet that where we can go. Don't go away from the red carpet. You also have some red carpets in your home. But when you go away from your home, you have no red carpet. But if you practice Dhamma, the Noble Eightfold Path, No matter where you go everywhere on the red carpet. Whenever we practice Dhamma, whenever we live according to the Noble Eightfold Path, it means we go everywhere on a red carpet. Okay, friends, in the Dhamma, this is the summary that I wanted to explain today. In short, what we have to practice is that the three disciplines or three trainings, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, virtue or moral conduct or discipline in our speech and behavior, and Samadhi or loving kindness meditation, and Panya means practicing mindfulness, being aware of our body and mind, or body, consciousness, feeling, and mental formations. And when we go to the deeper level, we completely be aware of our mind consciousness. When we see this reality, we release from the outside material world and persons. At the same time, we release from even our mental formations. We see the world as Sunyato Loka Navikaso, we see the world as an empty village. Sunyata, Animita, our mind is not fixed anywhere. Apanita, we don't take anything as essence, as reality. We completely come to this understanding. What is understanding? Arising or ceasing of five aggregates. By the power of all these meritorious and spiritual deeds that you acquired here, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain the final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkam pantāja nirdukkam, bhayam pantāja nirbhayam, sokam pantāja nissokam, hontu sabbe pipanino. Dukin pelena sat, dukin midetva, Bien pelena sat, bien vetva, solinte vena sat, somnas vetva, nitin me hama sat, suepat vetva. May the triple gem bless you.